Hey everyone, how y'all doing tonight? Coming at you again with a special guest. Call this brother. He's like a good friend. Been knowing him for a while. The good brother Dante out of Fort Worth. Today we're gonna really be chopping up how to, any and everything about the construction business. Before we get into that, folks, whether you watching live or you watching down the road on YouTube. Hey, just please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel Black Empowerment Movement. Hey, I'm gonna continue to bring great content like this. So if you like what you see, please share the video, like this video, and also whether you agree or disagree with what we're talking about tonight, leave a comment. And I'm definitely good at responding back in the comment section. But without further ado, let's get to the guest. I guess Dante. Dante, what's up, man? I'm so glad you was able to jump on tonight, man. Like this topic been on top of my mind for a long time, and I'm glad you was able to, take time out of your business schedule. But for the people that may or may not know about you, give us a little brief overview of your background and introduce yourself.
Yeah, already, man. No, so first off, man, let me just say shout out to you, Kentu, and what you guys are doing with BEM and the Black Empowerment Movement, man, and definitely you, Brady, the whole squad, man, and what y'all have done, just in terms of impacting the community at large, man, and definitely the Black community. So, just hats off to you, man. Salute, off
Appreciate
top. And for me, man, so I am a native Fort Worthian, born and raised here in the city of Fort Worth. Lived all over the city, but definitely found my roots on the east side, whether it be Stop Six, Eastwood, Woodhaven, Meadowbrook. I've kind of traveled the parts, but definitely found my home over at Dunbar, man. And so from Dunbar, man, went off to Prairie View. You know what I'm saying? Started out in architecture, but ended up getting my degree in construction science. From there, man, I came back to the city. Started out. And really spent the last 2005 really took off on my career, man. I mean, I started doing some stuff before then, but really in the commercial industry with construction, man. Worked for a couple of other different firms out of Dallas, one in Fort Worth and one in Arlington. The last one was a Black-owned company out of Arlington, and really kind of just got my juices running, man. Like if this is what it is, and I can get out here and jump out here and do it. So we started DIG Contracting in 2018, a commercial contracting company, general contractor, and also kind of an owner's rep as well. So those are the two kind of areas we specialize in. Commercial, probably 95% of what we do. The other 5% is a little bit of residential, but really try to stay away from the residential game, man. It's different, different ball
Well,
game.
we might get into some of that. So let's say a young man coming out of high school, he's interested in going into your line of work. What would you say the first path into starting your own construction business? Like what would a young person need to do with the first move?
So it depends, right? So like I said, so what we are a general contractor. So what that means is uh, we sub out. So for us, and there are some that do self-performance work, but we sub out 100% of what we do. So we do
Okay.
subcontracting, right? So what I'll do, so as a commercial GC, we go and we get plans, RFP or request for proposal or request for RFQ, and we take that, go review the drawings, review the specs, and then we send it out to subcontractors. So a contractor may be mechanical, electrical, plumbing, drywall, demo, concrete, and we find, we get the best numbers, best price, make sure they got the whole scope covered, and then we kind of coordinate between subcontractor, owner, and design team, right? And so we kind of manage that whole process. And so for a young person probably wanting to get more as a GC in the state of Texas, honestly, you don't need any type of license, but I definitely recommend getting some experience, right? So
Hmm.
um, you definitely want to have some experience behind you, whether that be you go and work for somebody else or the route I took. I went to college, got my degree, and then kind of went and worked my way up to the senior project management level. Um, that's one route, right? But then you can
Hmm.
also go to a trade school, and I, conversations I go when I talk to some of the students at Dunbar, Young Men's Leadership Academy, or just anywhere in general. When I talk to young kids, is you don't have to go to college to get in this industry, right? Like you can get certified to be, if you want to do drywall, if you want to do framing, if you want to be, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing trades, you can go and get certified in high school, actually, to be
Mm.
an apprentice, right? And so you can graduate from high school making 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a year just by going and being an apprentice and working your way up versus going to college and having debt. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a scholarship, right? And so that's the conversation I have with guys. And then the other thing you can do, honestly, so if you got a family member or a friend or somebody that has a company already, shadow them. Go and learn what they do. Go paint. You can paint houses. You can do demo. Demo is easy, especially for a lot of our young men that have kind of that some anger or some aggression and just need to get it out.
Yeah.
Go grab a sledgehammer or a hammer and just go knock some walls down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's construction too. You know what I mean? And so
So,
just giving them that understanding of like you can go and make $20, $25 an hour coming out of high school and be having some real money in your pocket by doing some of these trades. And so a lot of our kids just don't know, you know what I'm saying, that
mhm.
this is even an opportunity. And so that's one thing that I really try to push back and give back to them is just those ways of getting into the industry, right? And even now with technology, you know what I'm saying, a lot of what we do, our drawings are digital, right? So it's all computer based, iPad based. You hardly ever see like hard copies of drawings. And so a kid can take that, learn how to read plans, learn how to read drawings, do takeoffs. So as an estimator, quantity takeoffs, or even drones, right? So a lot of what's happening right now is you got certain companies will take a drone out to do area views, area shots, do a walkthrough of a project, a walkthrough of a job that could be 100-acre job. You know what I mean? And you fly that drone and you get paid X amount of dollars to just fly drones. You know what I mean?
So now
A lot of ways.
so you're doing the general contracting. So it sounds like general contracting. That's like you like a quarterback. You bringing in all the players for the
That's right.
deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is it a certification to be a general contractor, or you just is how would a person learn how to do general contract? Because technically, you bringing in all the players to do the project. You have got to have some type of certification or just some type of know how to general contract?
I mean, you can go get a professional management certification, right? A PMP.
Okay, PMP.
And
Okay.
then you could also go and get like I got a construction science degree. Uh, but again, it's management skills, right? And what you're managing is people, you managing the process. So again, in Texas, you don't have to have the degree or the certification, right? So you can just start a construction business. It's not, I don't recommend this, right? I do not recommend you do it, but you can just start a construction business um, without having either one of those things, right? And a lot of people get in trouble because they do that because they don't have the experience. But just starting out, you can start a company, a general contracting company. But when you get into trades, your electrical, your mechanical, your plumbing, you have to have those certifications um, to be qualified to do work because you have to go. When you go and get permits from the city or the county or wherever you're getting permits from, um, you have to be able to show that you have a license to do the work that you're doing.
Now, what helped you? I think it's going back to your experience. You had experience in doing, like, of course you got the college, you had the degree, but also you went out and got the experience with working in the construction field to have the know-how of the players involved to be able to put your management in skills to use as a GC, correct?
Correct. Because
Okay.
again,
Oh,
as a GC, I'm in control of the schedule, right, and I'm in control of the budget, right, and then I'm also in control of making sure that any building that you walk into, there's a spec and what color that wall is supposed to be, what type of door that's supposed to be, what type of light that's supposed to be, what type of window, right? So I'm in control of making sure the guys that I sub my work out to are meeting those specs and those requirements and coordinating it to match the schedule so we're on time, and also making sure that they're on budget and not going over the budget that I agreed to the owner to say, this is how much it's going to cost you to do this work, and this is how much time it's going to take me to get it done, right? And then, you know, there's a submittal process, there's an RFI process. So there's a lot of things that, you know, you have to know to make sure that you're doing things according to how they should be done on this side of things, if that makes sense.
And in your operation as a general contractor, who like what type of players you need on your team? Or it may just be you. You may be the only player that's needed. But are there like in your operation, this contract, are there other players involved with their
Oh yeah,
company?
without question, man. So any typical job, what we do, so project manager, superintendent, uh, and then have like a quality manager slash project engineer, and then an admin, right? And so project manager is typically going to be over your budget, assisting with your schedule, with your superintendent, buying out, making sure the contracts are right from the owner side and to the sub side. My superintendent is going to be the guy that's over the field, making sure he's my, you know, the eyes and ears and coordinating with the, you know, the subs and meeting the schedule and, you know, calling for inspections when it's time for inspections. My QM slash project engineer, they're going to kind of handle and make sure all the paperwork that needs to happen, kind of just like data management, you know what I'm saying, on the job is happening. So everyone has a role that they can fulfill. And then my admin is kind of a catch-all for all the back end stuff and phone calls and paperwork that we just got to make sure that's happening. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
that's kind of a typical project makeup, you know what I'm saying? When I'm as a GC, but then as a CM, kind of a construction manager for an owner, that could just be me or maybe one more person, because at that point I'm managing the GC. So so I also manage other GCs as an owner's rep, to kind of come in and manage the whole process for the owner to say, hey, I'm going to do this for you. It's almost like at that point I become like an extension of the owner. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I'm managing versus having someone else be that, and I'm the GC building the actual project. So I kind of operate in both of those lanes. So general contractor and construction manager are the two lanes that I operate in.
Wow. Okay. So, man, that's good information. I'm learning a lot myself, so I'm just trying to soak it all in myself.
Yeah.
So, you get to that point. A person get to that point where they get some experience in the construction field. They go to college. They get the PMP. They acquire school knowledge, some work experience working in the construction field, being hands on, and they like, okay, I'm ready to branch out, start my own GC business. Uh, how would they go about even finding the right fit, the people you name? How would they go about finding those right pieces to add to their business? What would you recommend?
As far as like
Yeah, staff.
staff and man, so right now it's hard, right? So hopefully you got some relationships with some people you can trust, and try to start there. Maybe after, you know, because if you build some time and you have some time in the industry, you're gonna build some relationships. You know what I'm saying? And so you may have some people that's willing to follow you and kind of understand your vision, trust your process, trust that you're gonna have some jobs, right? Because that's gonna be ultimately a big thing. Is where you finding your work at, your projects at, right? Because nobody's gonna come along just on a whim,
Yeah,
because you may not have no jobs. You know what I'm saying? And we out here
yeah.
stuck, struggling, me and you. So somebody, so you gotta have, hopefully you got some relationship with some people, and then also you have some equity built up somewhere, whether you got some liquid cash or you have relationships with some banks to where you can kind of get a startup loan or something that can kind of cover you to bring somebody else on, um, to pay, you know what I'm saying, each other until y'all find that first project.
Okay.
So I would start out light early, you know what I'm saying, with you and one other person, because, you know, typically on a project starting out, depending on your relationship capacity, and your hustle, honestly, you can get a job, $100,000 project, what I'm saying, or you can get $1 million project, and depending on where you decide to go, public or private, it kind of brings about some other things. But in terms of staff, yeah, man, I would start there with finding somebody that you trust and have a relationship with, and that's willing to ride with you for a little bit. I mean, then you could also always um, go to the market, right? In terms of Indeed, LinkedIn, Facebook, what I'm saying, employment options like that, workforce solutions. Um, but with that, with building a company, you got to find the right person that's willing to come work for a startup, right? Because with any startup, processes and procedures are being worked out as you
Yeah.
go. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna need somebody that's gonna be willing to like trust and understand, like, hey, I'm figuring this out. Are you okay while I figure this out? You're gonna get your money, but I gotta figure out kind of how we actually navigate, build, and grow this thing.
Man, you bring me, man, you hit on my next point that I want to get into. As you probably see, I'm going step by step with things, and you
Yeah.
you actually talked about the next step. How do you go about, or what is your process? Because I feel like you're very successful. What is your process in getting out there and getting those contracts? Like you get out there, you start your business. You may or may not have people working with you or staff. What is that process like to secure contracts when you first starting out?
So it's hustle, bro. Like honestly, right? So you got to hustle. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, so again, so one, hustle, but two, figure out like your business plan. Like, so every contractor is not going to operate the same and do the same, right? And so a lot of contractors, general contractor or subcontracting, right, or prime level or second tier contractors, a lot of them go out to public jobs, right? And so
Okay.
public jobs are the city, the schools, the county, um, anything tied to like government type funding, right? And so what you find a lot of times in those cases is there's a lot of people going out of them, and then there's also a lot of paperwork and a lot of um, requirements in terms of your scoring, right? So you get scored. So here's an example: you'll get scored off of, say, it's 10 points or 100-point rating system, and 10 of those points could be, have you ever done work in the city of Fort Worth? So if you're starting out and you've never done any project under this business entity, you're already down 10 points. So your chances of getting that job, you're already at a deficit, right? And then the next question could be, another 10 points is list similar projects that are similar to this project where you've never done projects. So now you're down 20, right?
Mm,
And so you may be going and bidding on this work, and you're starting at a 20-point deficit. You're starting at 80 where it was other guys are starting at 100, right? So you're hoping that if they submit all of their stuff, that they miss 20 points. You know what I'm saying? And so not knowing that, not understanding that, and you just going because you feel like, hey, all these jobs, because what you have to do too is sign up for each city, right? So the city of Fort Worth, the city of Arlington, city of Dallas, Arlington, Mansfield, Irving, all of them have a department that you have to register with in order to get emails or notifications that there's a bid opportunity,
okay.
right? And so like that's Tarrant County, Dallas County, Denton, like you go down the list, Fourth ISD, Crowley, Everman ISD. Like you, so again, that's the hustle part of it, right? You got to go and make sure you signing up for all these places to get all these bids, because it's not really a one-stop shop to let you know that these projects are coming out, right? Unless you pay somebody or there's some programs out there that you can pay for, and they'll send you some stuff like that, or you can kind of go on there and look and see what's
Yeah,
popping.
and that's exactly the type of information that people need because uh like me, like if I can, like insurance is one thing I can speak about from days on end about somebody say, hey, how I want to get into it, make money selling insurance. I can break that down. And that was what you just mentioned was a perfect example because I didn't even know the process. I didn't even know anything about that the point system. You got to go to these different
Right.
cities and public, and it's a point system. Uh, and another thing you mentioned, I know you was talking about getting out there and hustle. I'm sure that's going to the different cities and filling out that paperwork. Is it anything else
Yeah.
involved?
So
Like you got to get out there
yes.
and hustle?
Yeah. So that's what I was going to do next. So that's not my model. Right. So that's a model that I know well and I've seen
No,
work.
not one you know of.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But that's what a lot of, so when we talk about black businesses, especially black contractors, like a lot of us tend to go after the public work because there is a MBE like requirement from the city to try to, and MBE is minority business enterprise percentage to where they participation, right? So there's a requirement from each public entity to try to have anywhere from 15% to 25% depending on the city, right? And so another
Mm-hmm.
part of that point system is, and where we're finding a lot of contractors doing now, especially black contractors, is doing like JV partnerships with white firms so that they can partner with a white firm, right? And then that white firm has all the other, like they can get 100 points because they have multiple jobs in the city. They have a lot of projects similar to whatever they're going out there. And then like there's a, like I said, depending on the city, county, whatever, maybe a 10 point, 20 point for like minority participation. And
Okay.
so if you go in and JV, like your participation goes up, and then all your subcontractors on kind of your second tier subs, if you have 15% of the overall value of the job. So say if it's $1 million project and you got you know $25,000 or $250,000, like that's your percentage of the job, then you can get additional points because you've now matched the 15% requirement. You know what I'm saying? So like that's another avenue, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
what I do, so I don't do that either. I haven't done it. Let me say that.
Yeah.
So what I do is I work with and try and talk. So I do a lot of private work, right? So private work is like, so if you starting a business, if Kentu is starting a business with BEM, right, and y'all decide that, hey man, it's time for us to get a building, but we need to have somebody come in and either renovate the building or build us a building from the ground up. Then I come in, and so my job is hustling with so I'm finding you. So that's what, when I say hustle, I'm out here trying to find people who are developers, who are business owners, who are looking to open up a new business or have an idea and they need a space, or they have a space, or it's a charter school, or I did a Dunkin' Donuts, right? That was off of a developer who was building a retail pad and just kind of just again out there meeting people and telling, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what we got going on, and just finding those opportunities to actually get on the phone, riding around. Again, certain sites you can look at and see, okay, hey, these jobs are coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and then just being able to have real conversations, right? And then as of late, man, honestly, there's been quite a few like black owned businesses that just needed someone to help them in that process. And so I've been able to kind of go in and do some work here in the city, you know what I'm saying, with small businesses open up, a couple of restaurants. In Dallas, there was a black MRI facility I'm working on now, cryotherapy center, you know what I'm saying? So like being able, and it's black on cryotherapy right out in different locations like that. But it's because of networking, meeting people, talking with folks, letting folks know, hey, this is what I do. Um, and then partnering with other black businesses, black contractors specifically, to kind of go in together and make us bigger. You know what I'm saying? So if you
Yeah.
partner, and so instead of going and getting a white firm, like I found a few other black contractors I can partner with, let's kind of get some things done like this and make ourselves bigger so we can go after a bigger pot, a bigger project, and we can kind of combine our styles and stuff. So those are kind of what I mean by hustling, like kind of thinking outside the box and not going and fighting over. Because the thing about it, like a lot of times, what happens on the public side of things is we get caught up fighting each other over the 15% versus going after the 100%. You know what I'm saying? And so we fighting over that 15%, 25% MBE percentage. And if you look at the numbers here in the city, black contractors really only get roughly, 2 to 3% of all contracts in the city. Right. And that's just not a good number when you're looking at how much money passes through our city in construction. It's really, really disappointing, honestly. So versus me fighting over that 2 to 3%, I'd rather go and play in a different lane in the private sector and have more success and less hassle with ownership and getting paid. Because the other issue that we ain't talked about is payments, right? And that's how a lot of black contractors, small, and I just say small businesses, but definitely small black contractors go out of business, going and doing work for a city when they have you on a 60 to 90 day pay schedule. So you do work for 60 to 90 days and you ain't been paid. So you got to be able to cover your staff, cover material, cover all those costs, you know what I'm saying, until you actually get paid from the work you just did.
I think I know the answer to that. So how would someone survive that situation? And you said that's on the public side, right? What you just mentioned about that
Right.
60 to so you it's basically sound like you saying avoid public and deal private, right?
So not avoid it, have a plan for it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you got to have a plan for it, right? So I wouldn't tell nobody to avoid it if you got the plan, right? You got to have a plan for it and understand what you're getting yourself into, right? So what, again, either have enough cash flow to cover your costs, make sure you're good, or have some relationships with banks to where they can, there are loans out there that can like bridge the gap loans, construction loans that'll cover you for 60 to 90 days, or you can get a line of credit. You know what I'm saying? Like there are options out there, but you just need to have a plan for when you go into that, right? But it's a lot of us that come from, so what we'll do is we'll start a business in construction or contracting service, do residential, kind of do some handyman residential type stuff, get good at it, and then feel like, okay, I want to dabble over into the commercial side. Commercial contracts are way different than, you going and doing some work on somebody's house, right? Yeah. Like my residential contract is different from my commercial contract, just based off of the pass downs from my contract to the owner. You know what I'm saying? Just that small amount there, because I am pay when paid. So I'm not going to pay you until I get paid from the owner, right? And the owner can say, no, but I'm not paying that because I don't agree that that's right, or I don't accept their work, right? Wow. So now you kind of just, what are you doing in that situation, right? So you got to correct it, or you want to fight, or you want to figure out like, hey, that's not fair. And most of the times, that's how a lot of guys acting. Well, that's not fair. I did the work. I should get paid for it. That's not how the contract. That's not how this side of the industry is set up. Now we're pushing back and fighting some of that because, obviously, with small contractors, guys trying to build and grow, like there's no way they should have to do 60, 90 days. And what I've been able to do is get it cut down to like 15 to 30.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, but I can do that more on the private side than I can in the public side, because in the public side, there's just too many, legalities with the city, and
with the city,
and all the stuff that they got to go through. So, private wise, I can bring more of us on, and build and grow and scale a lot quicker because I can pay them quicker. You know what I'm saying? So that's also a part of what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So my goal on typical, most of my job is to have like 50% black and brown participation, and trying to get black and brown contractors in so they can grow and they can scale versus, 15 to 25% requirement from the city or public entities. You know what I'm saying?
And you were saying like it's a lot of money coming in to Dallas and just the whole DFW, Dallas Fort Worth area. How would somebody market themselves like in this digital age? Because the days of just going out meeting people face to face and doing a lot of things the old school way is probably, even in your industry, is not the way to go. Like as a business person, how do you market yourself to get your name out there to those top private firms and commercial deals, like, or it may still be old school, like you're talking about. Is it?
No.
How would you market yourself?
Yeah, so I would say, man, honestly, for construction, it's still more old school, right?
Oh
Because
wow.
people want to see you. They want to sit down and talk to you and figure out, like, do you really know what you're doing, especially on the commercial side. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is, I mean, if you go to my Facebook page, man, I don't think I posted anything this year from dead contracting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's true.
I just hadn't put a whole lot out there on that side of things. But you go to my website and you will see a lot more, because most people that are kind of in this industry are looking for the website versus the social media and kind of what you got there. Because social media is a lot of fluff. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, and it's good to do. It'll get your name out there. But for what I'm doing and what most guys are doing, like that, I know a few firms that's doing a great job at using social media and kind of marketing, doing stuff they do, but they're bigger firms and they kind of have the budget and they
Yeah.
have the team and staff to create all the graphics, and it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Even some firms that are doing like some, Patari Construction. Sharon Douglas, black owned, Dunbar graduate. She does concrete, but she's doing what to know type of deal, like a segment that she's been doing about, construction and some different things like that. So, there's some people kind of doing that. And then, of course, like the RBCA, Regional Black Contractors Association, or NAMAC, and all these, like, those are entities where it suits them well, because they're trying to bring more attention to the industry, especially for black. But in terms of, I'll say, me and kind of how we operate, man, it's definitely more personal, meeting with, sitting down, having a conversation, shooting some insight. If a bid comes out, like, I shoot an email out, hey, I'd like to come visit the site. I want to come meet with you, look at the site, and kind of see and talk and walk face to face. Because that gives the owner a sense of confidence. Like, one, you're interested, one, you know what's going on the job. But then two, for me, it also gives me a sense of like comfort too, that I can reach out, see, touch, feel this owner and understand and get a better view of like where they are in the business, right? And kind of where this project is headed. And also have questions about, do you have the money to actually finish this thing out if we get started? You know what I'm saying?
So it would sound like it's more important in your line of business to have a website more than anything.
It is. And I would say this, right? So that's commercial, but it's cast that's doing residential, right? Because residential is more people, like more everyday families, just people that just kind of just is more personal. So like for somebody doing residential, like it's probably a better deal to have an active social media page, because then I'm touching people who may be looking for houses, written houses, remodels on their house, additions to their house. Like that's more of where I would find a need for like heavy marketing on social media, because again, if you hit the east side, there's probably work all over the east side that could be done if you market it right and you become a well-known contractor through social media, and the work you do in this good work. You know what I mean? So I say it's there's a lot of different avenues that you can kind of take in how you do it, depending on kind of the sector you go in.
It does take like one thing I notice is me, like I'm from Mississippi, and everyone from my small town in Mississippi, they in the construction business, working on doing bridges, working cranes, and all this. But all the knowledge that those men have with working in the construction field, whether it's building bridges and doing all the things, operating a crane, none of the guys, started their own construction business, whether it be a GC type business. And I see that as like we always into doing the work and not going into the ownership side of things. And in your opinion, maybe you see some of the same things. I don't know out here in Texas in the Fort Worth area, because I don't see a lot of black men in construction. Back in Mississippi, that's all we did was construction work. I'm surprised. I'm supposed to be a construction worker myself. That is like out of high school, we went straight to doing construction work. That was the play. Yeah. But out here, in your opinion, why are you kind of, if that's going on here, why do you see some of the same things going on? Why are we go? We know the work. What's stopping us to being owners like yourself?
I think comfort, man. Right, comfort and security. Honestly, you know what I'm saying. Like stepping out and starting anything from scratch. There, like you gotta be a little crazy. You know what I'm saying. You gotta have some faith.
Mm-hmm.
And you just gotta be able to like trust that this thing is gonna pop, and if it don't pop, you got something to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? And like go hard at it. And so I think it's more of a sense of, and let me back up and say this. I don't think everyone will start a business. I don't think that's for everybody, right? Like there's a certain skill set, there's a certain, like I say, kind of tenacity and just craziness you gotta have with starting any business, but definitely in construction in Texas, um, in this city, in this minute, like you don't see, to your point, there's not a lot of black contractors, period. Like it's just not. You know what I'm saying? It's an industry that has thrived on the labor of brown people, honestly. You know what I'm saying? And also black people to a certain extent. But we're so distant from it now. But because to your point, um, construction used to be a thing that we did heavily. You know what I'm saying? And had to do. I mean, you think about some of the biggest buildings and monuments and things that were done, not just back in Africa, Egypt, but like here
Yeah.
in the States. Like we built a lot of these buildings that are still standing today and homes that are still standing today, right? You can, Jonathan AJ Morrison, his pops built a lot of the homes in Stop Six, but folks don't know
Mm.
that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go down the list and then there's real estate, old school like Frank Moss, he's been heavy in real estate for the longest, right? Um, when you talk about, I can go down the list. I got uncles that were doing construction and doing roads and doing concrete and doing all these things. Um, but again, just like everything else, man, when stuff hit, um, and when we don't come together or we tend to get more envious of each other, we tend to do a lot of inward fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And fighting over pieces of the pie that really we should just be sharing. You know what I'm saying? And just breaking bread together. So I think what has happened is we're comfortable kind of working for somebody else because it's safe, or it feels safe. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It feels safe, versus stepping out, um, and starting something on your own. Like that's a hard thing to do, bro. Like
It
honestly,
is.
you know what I'm saying?
The
That's a
listen you
hard thing
talk
to do.
about it, man. It sound dangerous, man. That's a lot of faith. I was like, man. I don't know how I make it as a GC, man.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So if you don't have the relationships, if you don't have, because there's just a lot that goes into it, um, and there's time, right? Like I was fortunate, blessed, like honestly, man, like out the gate to be able to have like again the hustle. Go, I went and met with any almost any black contractor that I knew or black person of influence within the construction industry. I went and met with all those people out the gate.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Just to see, like, hey, this is me. I'm out here now. Y'all knew what I was doing. But I went and met with every single last person to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm at. Um, like, what can we do? How can we work together? Or, hey, what kind of opportunities do you have? Hey, I'm willing to bid on, work on. I can put a contract together for you to come in and do X, Y, and Z. Just to start getting cash flow into the business. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so from there, like then I was like, all right, well, I got some collab, I got a couple deals here. Now I need to go and like cash flow is coming in. Like my house is good now, the family's good, wife ain't gonna leave me, she good, kids are fed. You know what I'm saying? Now I can go after some of these bigger projects and start bidding on this stuff that I really wanted to do because I built something up to where I was good on this end as far as just money coming in. You know what I'm saying? So like again, just the plan that you have for whatever it is you're doing.
So hopefully we haven't scared anyone from wanting to do this. So let's talk about the good stuff, man. Let's talk about the rewards of this. Like somebody like, man, what? First off, before we talk about money involved, let's talk about Uh, Damn, I lost my train of thought. God damn it. But okay, let's talk about it. It'll come back to the shit. What's the money involved? Like, I know you was inspired to do this from the beginning, but what's the rewards and being a black owned GC? What all the reward? It don't have to be just money. What is like freedom and all that freedom time to spend with your family, kids? What would you say was some of the biggest selling points for you to jump into this industry?
Yeah, so for me, man, so I mean, I can tell you a little bit about the money aspect without, kind of saying a whole lot. But again, to your point on, why, so some of your uncles or family or whoever, you know what I'm saying, like you only getting a part of the pie, right? So you're getting broke off something from somebody else that's a smaller piece versus like you stepping out and doing it on your own. Like now you kind of getting like you're getting a bigger, if not the whole pie, you're getting a very bigger, like a larger amount of the pie, right? So whatever the
Mm-hmm.
project is, so say it's $1 million project, right? You pay your staff out, you know what I'm saying? Pay your staff what they need to be paid. You pay the contractors what they need to be paid, right? And then everything that's left over is for your overhead, your cost of doing business, and then that's left over for you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's kind of how the money can work out really on that end. Um, and then in terms of like freedom is, so I got, this, most people may or may not, but being married with 4 kids, right? Um, so it's a beautiful thing to be able to, be able to take my daughter to school in the morning or my kids to school when I want to take them, or pick them up when I want to pick them up, or like just take the day if I want to go and have lunch with them, or if I want to go meet my wife kind of in the middle of the day if I just ain't got nothing. So like though the freedoms of not having to worry about like that on top of me. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody saying something if I leave the office.
Exactly.
Somebody saying something if, I'm saying I need to go run an errand. Or just being able to like I'm just gonna take the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take the week. As long as my stuff is good and my projects are on schedule and everything is kind of being taken care of and I got guys in place, like that's the beautiful thing of it, even more so than the money, right? Like as long as we're comfortable and our bills are paid and like we good
Mm-hmm.
and my mama is straight, kids are good. The freedom to be able to move how I want to move, and then this, right? Like just the work we do in the community. Like honestly, a lot of the like extra money or money that I have, a lot of times I'm spending that to do stuff for the community because there's such a need there,
Mm.
right? But also just my time. I'm willing to give up my time, So honestly, bro, I'm still at the office now, right? So a lot of days are like this because of being able to kind of maneuver during the day, come in, work a little late, but then also being able to go home and just know that my family's there, kids, like we good. So that peace of mind and freedom to be able to, make a little money, to keep my family good, make a little money to really help the community. But then like that true freedom of just like we good. Like I don't have to move to the beat of anybody else's drum other than what I feel like is the right thing to do at the time. You know what I'm saying? So for
Man,
me, um, that's huge. You know what I'm saying? And you can't replace that. Like you really can't.
do you feel like we need more black men in this space?
Oh, without question.
Okay.
Without question. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And just so you know, so like you got Jeff Postel, Trelane Mount, you got the guys over at Conrail, you got shoot, who else, man? I said I named Sharon Douglas over at Patari. Um, Mike Williams with 3i. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
like that, and they've been doing it like they're old school. Like I'm the youngest one in it. I'm the youngest one doing it. You know what I'm saying? And that speaks for itself, you know what I'm saying? But like in terms of outside of that, bro, like that's about as much as we got in terms of GCs, right? Anybody kind of working in the GC space. Now there
Yeah.
are quite a few, I ain't gonna say quite, there are more subcontractors, right? That
Yeah.
we can kind of get into, but it's still nowhere near our counterparts, right? Whether it be white or Latino. Like just
Yeah.
we just not there in terms of the amount and even turns into the amount of work that's being kind of handed out and given out. So without question, we need it. I'm willing to help anybody that has interest in this industry, whether it be coming in and just kind of shadowing me, coming in and doing an intern if you're young, you're in school, and that could be a paid intern just depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
And also I'm hiring right now. So, I'm on the east side of Fort Worth, our office on the east side of Fort Worth, off of Lancaster. You can apply through the website, dig-contracting.com, or hit us up on Facebook, or you call me.
Yeah, and Dante, definitely send me that those links. I posted them in the description for you guys, especially if you're in the Fort Worth area. Look in the description area. I'm gonna have those links in there. Probably I don't have it now, but I promise I'm gonna upload those links to the description area if you're in the Fort Worth area, because this is a golden opportunity, people. Like if you in the Fort Worth area, this is a golden opportunity. You can get, you can learn under a black-owned general contractor on the ins and out on how to run the business. This is like you just mentioned. It's like you can count on two hands how many black general contractors there are in this big metropolitan area. So this is a golden opportunity, guys, and definitely take advantage of that. Because like we were saying tonight, it's not too many of us in this field, in the GC field, and I feel like it's a lot of opportunity. They just say people, if we have more Dantes out there having, providing for their families, having that free time to volunteer and do things in the community, that's overall just making the overall growth of our people in our community better when we have black ownership like that. Most of our 9-to-5 grinders, we don't have that freedom to do the things we really want to do in the community. But if we can get, I know everyone can't do that, but if we can get more people to go that route, have that freedom, make money, give back to the community, man, that'll be amazing. So, man, if we can get the right young mind under you, man, to multiply Dante's, that'll be amazing. That'll be
Man,
amazing.
I'm with it, man. Believe me, because there is a great opportunity in front of us right now, right? To do just that. And so, like I said, my door is open. Definitely willing and looking for. Like I just got a young cat with the Young Men's Leadership Academy. Man, just brought him in as an intern. He's over at TCU now, but he's interning with me now. And just kind of getting them on, plugging them in, helping them learn some things, see some things, and hopefully kind of open his eyes to some different opportunities within the industry, man. So, and we've done that, multiple times now. And so it's just a matter of them grabbing a hold of it and just really running it and kind of taking it to, taking the bull by his horns and doing what they want to do with it.
Man, good stuff, man. I'm definitely. I need to get with you about the Young Man Leadership. Who is over there?
The school over there, that's Principal White. The principal.
Okay, I definitely want to. I definitely want to work with them on maybe on some IT and STEM stuff with technology. So, because I'm definitely company I work for, and I know some people from Google that want to work with some young black men too. So, Google out of Dallas, I got a connection with them. So. Yeah, man, we're gonna have to talk offline because I definitely want to get in touch with Young Man Academy. Any young black man been interested in IT, man, I definitely want to get involved with them. All right, people. Dante, you get the last word, man. We pretty much done. Last words. What you got for us, man?
Yeah, so I'll switch topics just real quick, bro. Like just from a community aspect, build and grow together. Like real talk, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's enough money to be made if you want to make some money. There's enough opportunities out there to make some money. But what we tend to do, and what I've seen definitely just from being around, man, we miss a lot of opportunity to build together. And so one thing about the construction industry and what I'm able to do with that in return of like community building is we have to have a strong foundation, right? Any building I've built, anything I've done, it starts with the foundation. And then you build around that. And so Right now, I would like to see our community, our people, get back to having a strong foundation, and it don't matter if we have some difference of opinions in a few small areas, right? Because each piece of the foundation plays an important role, just like each piece of, you know what I'm saying, the structure as we build up and we go up with it has an important role. We just got to understand that right now, in our communities, and I mean, you can watch the media, you can watch the news, you know what's happening, but there are things happening right now in our backyard, in our city, in your city, if you're not in Fort Worth, um, with our young people, that they need to see us as adults, as leaders, as whatever, come together and do something completely different than what we're doing right now and really build and grow together. So I just like to leave y'all with that, man. And again, my door is open even for those conversations, but even for businesses and people in the construction industry. So
Man,
yeah, bro.
I couldn't have said it better, man. And I just want to say thank you for coming on. Cause I learned a lot, man. I was like, man, we really can, like, the layers of the stuff you were talking about, man. Power can go do another deep dive, but we
Oh,
might
we
do
can
that
keep
for
going,
another
man.
day.
Because again, we
But
so what we didn't do, man, is we didn't talk about just being like the whole concept of being black in this industry is a different, it's a different vibe, bro. And you gotta have some different types of skin to hold these folks accountable, man.
oh
So
wow,
oh yeah,
we gonna have to make a whole nother topic for that one, then,
oh
man. Well,
yeah.
at least we got an idea for a part two, then.
Already.
All right, folks. Before we get out of here, I just want to remind you guys, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know, whether you're watching live or later down the road, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hey, I want to keep bringing content like this. You know, so please, you know, support the channel. You know, I'm trying to grow it, trying to get it to 1,000 subscribers. Right now, we almost there. You know, we 300 subscribers away from that 1,000. So subscribe, share the video. We're trying to spread the word. But as always, people, all power to the people, and we out of here. Y'all have a good night.
Already. Salute.